Good morning, good morning, good morning, good glorious morning. Welcome to our Sunday School highlights. Our Sunday School will be coming from the book of Acts, Acts chapter 26, verses 1 through 11. Our main verse is verse number 6, and it reads, "And now I stand and am judged for the hope of the promise made of God unto our fathers." Our theme is hope in God transform us. Hope in God transform us. Our three transitional points will be coming from Acts chapter 26, verse 1 and 3, Paul's appeal. Acts chapter 23, verses 4 and 6, we'll look at Paul's early life. That's number 2. And number 3, hope in the promises of God. That's verses 7 through 11 in Acts chapter 26. Hope, of course, in God transform our life. Hope is being absolutely certain of coming good, being confident, having that expectation. In the book of Proverbs 13 and 12, it says, "Hope deferred make a heart sick, but when the desire comes, it's a tree of life." I'm waiting on something and it makes me sick. But he says, but when it comes, it's a tree of life. In Romans chapter 8, verse 24 and 25, he says, "We are saved by hope. A hope that is seen is not hope. But if we hope that we see not, then we do with patient wait for it." Paul, of course, was waiting patiently. His hope had got deferred, but yet after 2 years, could you imagine being locked up, being falsely accused because of your belief and because of the gospel? And now he has an opportunity to make an appeal for himself. Is in verse 1 through 3. Verse number 2, Paul says, as he faced the King Agrippa and the governor Festus, Paul said, "I think myself happy because I have an opportunity to speak for myself, touching all the things that I am accused of." Isn't it amazing that they were accusing Paul? They persecuted him and people were quickly ready to judge him. But Paul says, listen, my mama can't speak for me, my daddy can't speak for me, my brothers and my sister, and certainly my enemy can't speak for me. But Paul says, I am making appeal for myself. Verse 4 and 6, Paul went back and talked about his early life, his life as a youth. It's always good to remember where we came from. Paul talked about his religious upbringing. Of course, how he studied under Gamaliel. He was a Pharisee among Pharisees. He of course, he knew the law. He remembered his religious upbringing, but of course, his religion did not give him a relationship with God. Of course, now he moves to verse number 7 and 11, and you look at the hope and the promises of God. And Paul literally pulled up the 12 tribe of Israel, how God made a promise to them, and irregardless of what they were trying to do, as they tried to extinguish their flame, as they tried to annihilate them, they could not ever stop because God made a promise. And of course, Jesus came through those 42 generations. He came, of course, in the fullness of time, made under the law, made of a woman, made under the law to redeem us that are under the law. And so Paul literally talked about how he tried to distinguish them, how he tried to put out the flame. But yet, in spite of all of that, God promise came to pass. Why? Because God is a man that cannot lie. Whatever God says he's going to do, if he spoke it, he's going to make good of it. So therefore, when my hope is in God. As the songwriter said, my hope is built on nothing less but Jesus Christ and his righteousness. This hope is an anchor to my soul. It's an anchor to my mind, my intellect. It keeps me steadfast and unmovable. Of course, no matter what the way, the wind, the storm go, my anchor, my soul is anchored in the Lord. And this hope, of course, in God has transformed my life. This hope has brought about a change in my life. So therefore, we have to make sure that our hope, our confidence in God, and when we do, it will transform our lives. It's not the circumstances that are going to transform our life, but it's hope in God. God bless you. Have a blessed day on purpose. In Jesus' name, hope transform us.